Hi, I'm Michael Newman with Christian Coalition for Reconciliation in Houston, and I work full-time with people struggling with sexual identity, homosexuality, and I've been doing that for 28 years. I started with homosexuality. The confusion began early. My first memories are about 3 because my mother was chiding me as a sensitive child. Don't be so dramatic. Don't use your face. Don't use your arms. Boys don't cry. They're going to call you a pansy. So that put the confusion and doubts in my mind about something was wrong with me. I was different. I didn't know what pansy was. Labeling was so destructive because what we hear and how people judge us, and my personality is a people pleaser and wanted to please, was very destructive. And when it started at home and then realizing that I was being made fun of or considered less than the other little boys, really put doubts, insecurities in me that really were fertile ground for the sexual confusion to erupt in homosexual behavior later. I escaped during my formative years before university by being the good kid and the intelligent one. So there were the doubts, the insecurities, but stayed in security of approval of the things I was good at, intellectual pursuits and things like that. When I hit college, away from home, it was someone my own age, a drinking binge in New Orleans, and he said, "I'm gay and you are too." Shocked, but it was without judgment and an altered state of conscience. Why not? All those years people had thought that. So it's my first sexual experience. It wasn't great. It's very confusing. I was already a Christian and I was a church boy, but didn't have much knowledge. So I immediately started getting conviction and feeling bad about it. But even then, there was pro-gay theology, which I read the Bible for myself. And I finally argued with God, but I really had bought into the lie that because I was a highly sensitive, aesthetic, artistic male, there was no place for me in the heterosexual world. So that was the big lie of why I went into the pursuing homosexuality. I met a young man who was a Christian. He was a colleague, and he was different than other people I'd met. And I saw Christianity in action. He became friends, and a big fear was being rejected by him. And after getting to know him as a Christian, Bible studies and all, I got up the nerve to tell him my story. Fearing rejection, he would cut me out of his life, make fun of me, tell others. But God had prepared him, and even though he didn't understand it, when I told him, and he listened carefully before making anything, he let me know that he had not judged me as others had. And he believed in a God that could change people, and he didn't know what that would look like, but he was willing to be my friend with no strings attached. So that encouraged me to dive in and say, okay, God, can you really do it? Moved to Houston, got involved in church, and naively met a homosexual man in church, 10 years older than I was, who was divorcing his wife to be true to himself. And I said, hey, but you know, God can change your life. He changed mine. Naively, he didn't want to change. Stage 2 of my relationship. Fell into a sexual relationship with a man in church. Very difficult, very painful, was very convicted. It was this emotional ping pong game, went on for about a year. And then finally, a traumatic event, my godly grandmother's death, really made me face it and made me realize that God gently was telling me that this man had been an idol in my life and he would accept no idols. And it was very clear to me. And I said, God, you know, I can't do it, but can you help me? And he has. I broke up with that man in 1980 and then started ministry in 1985. And God has been faithful to show me above and beyond all I could think or imagine in terms of how he has helped me continue to grow. It's more than just stopping the behavior. It's the change of mind, renewal of mind, Romans 12, 1 and 2. To the sensitive teenager who's hearing people accusing him or judging him as gay, I would remind you, don't let other people put labels on you. It's not their opinion, but let God define you. He did not create homosexuals, and his definition of what real men are is not the same as what the world has. So let God define you. Don't let other people define you. And being sensitive male is a good thing. God needs men sensitive to him.